Okay, so we're gonna do kind of just do it yourself, figure it out. Uh, which way is best, clockwise or counterclockwise? Um, it may look like a pattern, but those are all randomly placed on the wheel, the round magnets on the wheel there. I kind of tried to balance it a little bit, but I don't even think it needed it, because on the outside we got these two big ones across from each other are pulling, so they're stabilizing everything. And then these two silver ones are pushing on it. So when a magnet passes through the silver one, it'll push it on. When it gets beyond the halfway mark, it'll push it on. There's a little space in the middle where the opposite, force is present. So all these magnets on all the magnets will slow this down, unless there's some mystical, magical, but there isn't. I mean, you flick, with your thumb like you're flicking a quarter, a magnet, and have it land on there, and it'd be perfect, and everything works. That would be great. But you can flick as many magnets as you want, but the more you put on there, the more force there is to deal with, the more weight there is to deal with, and the slower and more bogged down everything gets. So that's where less is more fits in here. When it was just the naked disc on top of another disc and a pole going through the middle, and you whip the top disc and it goes for like almost 10 minutes. Woo! No, actually, for like a spin, constant motion with no bearings and levitation. I don't know if that's good, but I heard that like some unbalanced stuff. This is also like, it has no like charge going through it except my wrist. There's no batteries or anything hooked up to this thing, so that's not part of the equation. You know what I'm saying? So here, let's give it a whirl clockwise. We'll just do it enough to get over the hump, and then this thing will start working or not working clockwise. See, but I think it's gonna, because this is I'll explain it. This is gonna be the weaker one because of the way I have the outer magnet set up. Like, say we start here at this pole. Okay, so we go from, the magnet goes from here to here where it's pushed, to here where it's sucked, slowed down. See, so it's going to slow down faster. And see, I mean, look at this thing go, and I just like could blow on this thing and we could spin 5 times, man, I swear. But if I constantly blow on it, this thing will never stop spinning. And I tried that the other day with this fan I have over here. And literally, it spun until I turned the fan off. Alright, that looks like it's going to be it for clockwise. Now we're going to do the counterclockwise. And I'm going to even spin it more gently. I want one of these gaps here. This one right here. See, now when we start the same pole and we go counterclockwise, it goes to suck, so it sucks it in. And the momentum, you use momentum to get past that, and then it goes to a push, and it'll push to the next suck, and there's kind of a, you know, synergy going on there. But I don't know if I can get an accurate, you know, what works better doing this way, because both, you know, finger flicks were different, but you can kind of see how it's working like that when it gets real slow. But I'd say they're about the same, actually. Yeah, about the same. Now, since these poles are magnetic, or they act as like an electromagnet, because they are always pulling towards the pole. It doesn't matter what side of the magnet I put on it. So we're going to use the poles. We're going to do the same thing. Alright, so I want to make sure that I can use my left hand. See, unless there's a proper configuration, the bigger magnets just get in the way. Thinking maybe if I use smaller magnets. But I've done all this, you know, I've done this, I think the poles are pretty good. Because there's not too much, you know, it's barely any, and it's all pulling. So with the momentum, as the magnet passes, it'll help get to that point, and then when it passes the center, it'll hinder, because it will still be sucking, you know. So like we pick a magnet on the wheel, it moves up to a pole, and then when it passes the center of the pole, it gets, and that's why you have more than one on there, because when another pole could be, you know, negating or zeroing out that effect. And that's why I like even numbers with this, because, you know, if they don't just zero out, then it's just spinning, and that's cool too. But if you put a seventh one on there, then there's no zero out. It's not gonna zero out. And I don't know, maybe we should do that. That sounds really neat, actually, when I say it like that. It's like, wow. All right, where do we want to put it though? We want to put it in the small gap or the big gap? I'm gonna put it in a really small gap over here. Yeah. Is it lopsided now? Maybe a little bit. That's pretty neat. But I want it to be, I want a balanced wheel here. That's what I want now. So we're going to do that real fast. And then we're going to put that 7th one on there. Probably right where it is. All right, let's do this. Yeah, you know, when you're using too much force, things tend not to bind together. And that, you know, all these things are linked, all these thoughts and ideas and stuff like that, they're all linked together. So I think open source information sharing, I gotta give props to open source because it's a beautiful thing. Major breakthroughs will happen now. That's the key that is going to unlock the door. I'm not talking about any specific door. I'm just talking about the next stage of evolution will be opened up by open source. Because the message is important. That was pretty cool. See, but when it gets real slow, it's going to latch onto the poles automatically. It's just going to happen. It's going to stop suddenly like that. But, you know, if I take all the magnets off, sorry, bear with me. I'm just trying to get to a point that less is more. I mean, if we could have one really powerful magnet on here that didn't weigh anything, I would do that. But it can't weigh a fucking ton, you know, because then the disc goes like that. And I don't want my disc spinning like that. I mean, some people don't care. I don't think anybody else really does this, but oh wow, that is really light. Now, the only friction going on here is a little bit in the middle. I mean a tiny bit, because this hole is opened up a little bit. I can see through on all sides of the pole. So, I mean, occasionally it'll touch the middle, but it's not a big deal. It used to be a big deal, but like I said, it opened up. The magnets, even though the magnets aren't over each other, there's just friction there. The force each opposing side, there's little spaces in between those. And even though the fields overlap, you know, creating a pretty steady level, there's a presence of the other side in there, and it creates friction, even if it's virtual friction. It's not virtual friction, it's real friction, but it's only friction because the disc is moving, you know. Magnets don't work unless, I mean, yeah, you can suck one to you from a distance and the magnet will do that, but you have to move that magnet somehow in the field so that that will happen. So, you know, yeah, cool, nice trick. Don't break your magnets. You can drop it, you can flick it, you can kick it, you can push it. Doesn't matter how you do it. You can shoot it out of a gun, for, you know, a coil gun, whatever, whatever. Any way you freaking slice it, you are making that happen. So, if you push the button on a machine to do it, if you tell a robot to do it, even once, you made it happen. There's no way to get around that part either at this point. You know, even in AI, man, the way they learn, similar. I'd say it just happens at an exponential quantum level, man, just all at once. But it's kind of the same deal, but with less prejudice. Wow. Sorry about that. I think AI is really cool. I get off on a tangent every once in a while. You know, I like to think I know about this stuff, but I've only read so much, and you know, I find it very interesting. Yeah, I think AI and you know, just I was thinking about this thing that would pacify everybody. You know, take away the charge of emotion. Because that's electricity, man. That's what that is. And we would use that as a way to nullify uh, negative emotion, which causes people to do crazy things. Even people that don't feel emotion feel the electricity. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's all the same stuff. You know what I mean? It's all of it. It's all the same stuff, man. I just made 4 volts of electricity plugging lemons and copper wires and stuff together. You know? It's all the same thing, man. And we're moving into that era. Definitely. We're moving into that era where people are going to begin to realize this very quickly. And new stuff is going to happen. And it's always happening, you know? It's always happening, but this is where it's going to happen like you're going to see it happen. And it's just going to go boing, and it's gonna jump out at you. All right, thank you very much. Less is more. Have a great day.